Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of old sheet music. I'm your host, Nicholas Carroll. Tonight I am looking at the Tyrolean Shepherd Boy by Theodore Oeston. We have a pretty basic artwork there, just kind of a lyre with some pomegranates growing out of it. And this is one of these by this it's not going to focus on that for me, I don't think, so you can't really see that, but it's the Art Publication Society of St. Louis, Missouri. I've had several pieces that are by this publisher, and then as usual, they have this statement about why it's important to have a teacher so that you don't think you should just buy this and go try to teach it to yourself. Thanks for that. I appreciate it as a piano teacher. It is true. And so we do have an excellent description of the piece here that's quite in depth. It talks about all the different sections. It goes through the theoretical analysis, talks about all the chord structures, and it's in quite detail. It's like something that you would expect to have on the praxis test if you were going to study in Pennsylvania to become a music teacher. You would have to be able to analyze pieces like that. So they go into great detail on that, which isn't something you see in these sheet musics too often, except in this particular brand. I'm not going to read you all of that, but I will read their description of the composer and the basic of the song rather than the analysis. So, Theodore Oeston is a Berlin musician educated thoroughly in music in his native city and a capable pianist. He played many instruments and composed diligently, at first in the ultra-classical style, which his teachers had taught him. But finding that the public cared nothing for his grandiloquent, I don't know that word, sonatas and other difficult and ambitious works, he turned to the composition of pleasing works such as ordinary players and pupils would like to play. In this field, he had an enormous vogue, and thousands of students and players have had reason to bless his memory. He was born in Germany, Berlin, 1813, died in Berlin, Germany, 1870. Grandiloquent is quite a vocabulary word there. Certainly not something you hear too often anymore, and I know a lot of words. The poetic idea. The Tyrol is a mountainous country between Vienna and Salzburg in southern Germany. In the mountain regions, the snow melts first in the valley, and accordingly the cattle and sheep are pastured there in the beginning of summer, but later when the snow melts on the mountains, the grass in the higher valley is better. They call those mountain meadows, quote-unquote, Alps. Accordingly, the cattle and sheep are driven up the mountains to be pastured where their owners hold grazing rights and are generally left in charge of a boy. This is a lonesome business, to sit all day and do practically nothing, because it is too high up there to raise any kind of crop. The shepherd boy generally has his alpine horn, an instrument of the shape of a straight trumpet, a tube of wood, about 8 feet long, wound with flexible strips of wood. The instrument has no valves and can produce only its own natural tones belonging to some one chord. On this instrument, the boy amuses himself by playing, and by practice he becomes very expert. In this particular case, the poet has permitted himself, in melodies C, D, etc., to greatly improve the horn, and the word is cut off there, but I think it's supposed to say has, and has given it tones which no horn would have. It is permissible piece of imagination. And that's what it says. Yes, that is not correct English. It is permissible piece of imagination. So clearly this is like almost like typeset, like somebody typed this on a typewriter. So the composer, like I said, was from the 1800s, 1813 to 1870. The piece itself, let's see if it actually tells me here. The piece itself is copyright 1913, so that's this edition. Clearly the piece had to have been written before that, since the guy who wrote it didn't live that long. He died in 1870. I don't see anywhere, even amongst all this analysis, where it tells me when it was actually composed. Maybe they don't know for sure. but it would have been within that guy's lifetime, so before 1870. This edition, though, is from 1913, and we shall see how it sounds. It has multiple sections. The first section is called Sounds of the Mountains. Then we have a Pendulum Allegretto section, and I guess that's it. Actually, all these other pages are just notes and a test for a student to take to answer what key it's in and all that sort of stuff. So it looks like this piece is a lot longer than it is when you pick up the sheet. It's many pages, but it's actually only 3 pages long. And there we have it, the Tyrolean Shepherd Boy. A nice change of pace from the pieces I've been doing lately.